Hey, everybody, and welcome to the F Your Fears podcast. I am your host, Ashley Monique Menard.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the F Your Fears podcast. I am your host, Ashley Monique Menard, and today I've got a very special guest. A very special one indeed. We've got Erika Stone. I had such a fun time chatting with her. I actually don't know her, but my buddy Rebecca Ballin was like, hey, you got to talk to Erika. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I checked out her website, and it's Rachel Designs, and she and her mom create these adult erotica coloring books. And I thought, of course I've got to have her on the show. Yes, please. So yeah, these coloring books, there's two different ones I have. One is called When a Woman Loves a Man, and the other is called When a Woman Loves a Woman. And they are naughty but tasteful, sex-positive coloring books. And nothing's exploitative to either gender. It's a woman-owned company, because it's mother-daughter. And they also hired an LGBTQ consultant, that's the word, consultant, in order to put together their second book. So yeah, and I actually have one of the books. I have one right here. Yeah. When a woman loves a man. Anyway, this coloring book is super... Hey there, how are you? It's super sexy, a little naughty, a little scandalous. Also got some old people boning in a barn. Y'all, I love this. I love this coloring book. It's super sexy, and I really, really like it. So, yeah, check out this book. Check out this interview. I'm so excited that you're here today. Before we bring out Erika, I want to go ahead and talk about some things. Okay, so I was trying to figure out a way to kind of address racism, right? Because it's one of those things where a lot of people are like, well, I'm not a racist. And it's like, yeah, okay, so maybe you're not a racist. Great, good for you. We should all strive to not be, because it's just skin and all the stuff that's underneath it is exactly the same. But because of the color of it, it systemically created some issues in the world. I'm not sure if you've seen the news, but there's things. So I wanted to share a way that I found super duper helpful that I found online. So, a friend of mine reposted something, and it was by the official Millennial Black. The official Millennial Black. So, I then started looking at everything on her page, and I'm like, oh, this page is so great. What a wonderful usage of tools. And if you check out the F Your Fears podcast, you'll see a link there, also on the Instagram. That way you can check it out as well. But I wanted to go ahead and read it. So it's, these are not my words. These are not created by me. I wish I could take credit for it, but I don't wish I could take credit for it, because I didn't do it. But I'm super grateful to have found it, because then I can share these tools with everyone else. Because I think it's one of those things where it's uncomfortable to talk about, but sometimes it just has to be spoken about, and especially right now with the current climate that we're in. And so let's talk about how to be an ally. Okay, so non-racist versus anti-racist. Not being racist is simply not enough these days. Not being racist is not allyship. So anti-racism isn't a belief. Anti-racism is actually a set of actions. And anti-racism is calling out racist actions, words, beliefs, structure, every single time. No matter who they're from. Deprioritizing white comfort. Being anti-racist is hard work, and it can be uncomfortable, and that is fine. White majority comfort is not more important than the safety and humanity of Black, brown, and every minority people. Minority people move through a world that not only wasn't built for them, but is hostile to them every day. And this is not only uncomfortable, it's scary, it's dangerous, and we have seen it cost people lives. So understand that you will never be as uncomfortable in the challenges of racism as a minority person with a knee on their throat. It's important to listen. People who are used to being in the majority are used to being heard and listened to more than their minority friends and colleagues. So taking the time to decentralize yourself from the conversation and listen to the voices of the minority people. Listen without asking questions, without inserting your thoughts. Just listen. Listen to the experiences of marginalized groups. You might be surprised what you actually learn. Woke signaling. Your minority friends or family members are not tools for you to point to as a way to prove your unracistness. You can have minority friends and still be racist. You can have minority family members and still be racist. Your active anti-racist work is all that you can use to show your beliefs. So use your platform. However large or small, you have the opportunity to be able to reach people, to share news stories and updates, especially if your timeline is not very diverse. Work to diversify your timeline. Raise awareness among those who may not otherwise see it. Understand that your voice can travel to places that you can't. But remember, posting is not your only action. Emails, phone calls, letters, donations, conversations are actions. Don't police your tone. Don't tell people that they are grieving or reacting in the wrong way. Being a minority in a Western country is a daily barrage. Sometimes we feel it deeply. Sometimes we're numb. Both are reasonable responses. Allow minority people to feel the full range of their feelings. And educate yourself. Don't ask minority groups to educate you. You have the same access to Google that they do. And teaching people about racism and discrimination is hard. It's emotional work. So yes, buy books. Buy books with your money. Support the people doing the work. Read articles, seek out and share knowledge. Check if your minority friends have the mental and emotional capacity for what you need before unloading on them. Don't make your education someone else's burden. Too old or too young. Don't make excuses that people are too old or too young to learn. Black children learn about living in a racist society from the start of their lives. Whether it's twice as hard, half as much conversations, or the casual racism and microaggressions that they encounter in their young lives. People are never too old to be challenged on their prejudiced views or attitudes. That's just the way things are is simply not good enough. And minority people never age out of being discriminated against. Majority people are never too old to be held accountable. I'm so grateful that Official Millennial Black posted that, so I was able to read that and share that with all of you. Make sure you go over to the Instagram and you follow them. If you check out the show notes, you'll see a link for it. Let's go ahead and move on into the next phase. Let's bring out our amazing guest today. We have a super feministic power hour, and we chat about X, Y, and Z, y'all. It's so great. I'm so excited. Get ready for this episode. It's good stuff.
Is your current headshot a little outdated? Is it in black and white? Head over to Queen Self Tape and get yourself some new headshots. Gabe Awan's got affordable prices and can also help you with self-tapes. www.queenselftape.com. Okay, so today we've got Miss Erika Stone. Erika, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about it.
How's your beautiful Friday morning going?
Actually, it's going really well. I live in Alaska, but I'm in San Diego right now, or actually La Mesa, visiting my dad because it's the first time I've been able to see him because of COVID for over a year. So it's a beautiful morning here. It's like 65 or 70 degrees, so a little bit warmer than Alaska. And it's sunny and gorgeous. So nice. How's your morning?
My morning is just breezing by. Time has flown. I was trying to put this eyelash on. I think I got it securely on because I was like, let's get from point A to point B. So it's been a good morning. Awesome. Okay. So my first question I always ask everyone is, how do we know each other? And I normally ask that to the person I'm talking to. So why don't you go out and tell everyone how we got connected?
Right. So I have a friend named Rebecca Balin. We used to work together at, we worked artistically together at the Unknown Theater, which existed. It no longer exists, sadly, in Los Angeles on Seward Street. It was this magical little, amazing theater, a bunch of really incredible and it was just like the perfect theater I've always wanted to be a part of. It existed in this bubble of like 5 years, and we got to know each other then. It was called Unknown Theater because we did a lot of unknown works, even if they were from known playwrights. So she saw some stuff that I was posting about my coloring books. I create adult coloring books with my mother, and she saw that and she said, I think my friend Ashley might be interested in this for her podcast. Check out her podcast and message her. And I did. And you said, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Speaking of your coloring books, I'm going to go ahead and I'll get fancy, you guys. I'm going to have the coloring book pop up here so you can see what it looks like. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your coloring book?
Great. Yeah. So they are they're under Rachel Jane Designs. My mother and I created them. They are adult coloring books. And when I say adult, I don't mean really intricate mandalas and, cat designs. They are adult. So they have adult content in them. They are, they're set up as couplets. So all of the pages are what the first page is very sweet, something like, I get a sweet thrill when I look in your eyes. And then the second page is decidedly a little bit more raunchy and with less clothing. Can I say the second part?
Yeah.
So the second part of that one is, but I go to another planet when your head is between my thighs. So
Sexy Time USA. I mean, who doesn't want that coloring book, y'all? Come on. You'll see the link right here. You'll see in the show notes. So let's travel back in time for a sec. So where were you born?
I was born in Waterbury, Connecticut, which is also, I won't say that, but it's kind of a funky little place. I didn't spend a lot of time there. My parents, they stayed in Connecticut, but not in Waterbury until I was about 18 months. And then we moved to Rhode Island. I grew up in a really small town. It used to be very small. It's a little bigger now. It's called Westerly. Taylor Swift actually has a house there now in Watch Hill, which is kind of nutty. Oh, but it's a beach town. It's really beautiful. Yeah, she's so great, right? Yeah. They like her there too. I haven't been back in a while, but people used to make out on her porch that overlooks the ocean. So I definitely spent some time on her porch when I was a kid. It wasn't hers at the time.
I think that you should go leave a coloring book at Taylor's house. Honestly, I feel like she would like it.
I think she probably would. Maybe I will do that the next time I'm there. That's a great idea.
Totally. So there you were a kid. What was it like when you were a kid? Like, what were you getting into?
Oh, I was a weird kid. I
love that. I love weird kids.
I was confused, I think. I don't know. I was part like super girly girl and part like raging tomboy. So like, I loved to dress up. My friend had this tutu. I didn't. She had this tutu that I loved. And I would wear it every time I went, or many times when I went over to her house. I'd beg her to let me wear this pink tutu. But then I'd want to go play in the woods. So invariably I'd come back with this, like just covered in mud. So like I had these, this sort of like two sides to me. I loved fishing with my dad a lot. He was a naturalist and in biology, and my mom is an artist. So I sort of split my time between going to art galleries with my mom and going to like see whale dissections on the beach with my dad. So I had kind of a like dual existence growing up. Yeah.
That's amazing. Are you a Gemini?
Actually not. I'm a Libra, but I've been asked that before.
Are you sure?
Maybe it's my like rising sun or moon. I'm doing another podcast with somebody in about a week. And she does cards and stuff. So she's going to do my reading. I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Every time I call my sister, I get a freaking reading. It's good.
It's good.
It's so funny because like my sister's really into astrology. And so I called her yesterday, or she called yesterday, and we were talking about something. And she's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I just feel like I should just give up and life's just over and I don't even know." And I go through, like, we all go through those moments. We all go
Yeah.
through those moments of just like, I can't deal with this hour. Like, this hour is challenging. And my sister got me in that hour. And so she's like,
Oh,
"Well, hold up. So let's talk about your Aquarius right now. There's a lot that's going." And so she just like starts going off. And then she's like, "You just need a fire sign in your life. Like, if we could just get you a fire sign in your life, I really feel like it'll fix a lot of things." And I'm like, I love my sister so much. She makes me laugh. Anyway, okay. Do you have
that's
siblings?
awesome. Sorry?
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have two younger sisters, and they are a lot younger than I am. My sister Jillian lives in Massachusetts. She has 6 kids.
Wow.
And then my sister Alex lives in Oakland, California, and has no kids.
That's
Travels a lot.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
6
they're great.
kids these days. My
I know.
grandma, one of them had 9 and the other one had 12. Like, that's just a lot. Like, you have teams.
I
Your
know.
sister is a team.
I know. Yeah, she does. I heard of the other day someone mentioned to me the woman who had the greatest number of kids in the history of recorded history,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, it's probably like 24 or something, right? No, it was 69. Like, how do you even do that in a lifetime? It was triplets and twins, etc.
That's how you do it. Okay. Wow. I have to look that up. I find that to be mind blowing.
Bananas, right? Like,
That's
I
bananas.
can't. And yet, you can't even know, how do you love, like, really love 69 people? Like in a way that you're supposed to love your children. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. How do
All
you
I
even
can
know their
think about
names?
all I can think about is what's her sex life like after like 40 kids.
I feel like it's got to go downhill, right? I mean,
Well, I don't know. She made it to 69.
maybe it's great. Maybe that's why she kept doing it. I don't know. Maybe she couldn't
Did she
stop.
give some away? You gotta be giving some. You gotta be a puppy mill at one point.
Yeah,
By then,
I would
like,
I would hope so. I think just so they could be loved, right? I don't know.
and also financially, that just 69. I mean, that's a class,
I know. Yeah, I mean that is a little army
a
that you have there.
graduating class of a
Yeah,
very
totally.
small town.
Yeah, can you imagine being in the town and being like, oh, these are all the Joneses? Like, they take up the whole school. How do they even accommodate them?
That's
How do you feed
incredible.
them?
I don't know. That's wild.
Yeah.
So speaking of family, you have a cool dynamic going on in your family because you create with your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I guess my question is, so at what point in time did that pop up as like, "Hey, let's do this"? Was mom always kind of there when you were a kid being like, "Yeah, this is great. This is great." Always kind of nourishing? I guess it's a two-part question. What was mom like when you were little and you were starting to like be creative? Was she like super nourishing, like you were a little flower, or was she like, "Get your head out of the clouds"? Those are the
um,
only two options.
that's it. I actually was sort of a little bit of both, maybe. Um, I definitely am not an artist, which is interesting. So I'm a performer. I'm an actor. I really wanted to be able to draw when I was a kid, because my mom could draw, and I thought that was cool, and it'd be so fun to like make beautiful paintings. My anything I attempted to do like that was horrifying, like just
Mm,
garbage lighted on
got
fire.
it.
Seriously, I can't even draw a straight line like with a ruler. Like,
Mhm,
I slip. It's terrible.
mhm.
So I didn't ask for encouragement in that way, but I loved performing, and that started like pretty much the second I came out of the womb. Like,
Yeah.
I just loved being an actor. And I remember specifically telling my dad, he's in the living room. I was probably about 4, and I was like running around and like putting on little plays. He had his robe on early one Saturday morning. And I ran up to him and I tapped in his robe and I said, Dad, I know what I want to be when I grow up. And he said, okay, what is that? I said, an actor. Well, I said actress. Probably at the time I wouldn't have said actor, an actress. And I don't think he was happy with that. They're very supportive, and they have been supportive. But definitely, I actually went to school. I veered right before I went into college because I was sort of given the message that maybe I needed to do something that was
Mm.
would have, secured employment after. So I actually double majored in biology and psychology instead of going to school for theater.
Wow, that's such a smart choice.
It was, but I also, and I did, I worked in labs and in pharmaceuticals for a little while when I finished school, and then I just missed performing so much. And when I made that leap back, I expected some pushback from both of my parents, even though my mom is an artist and that's how she makes her living. I did expect them to kind of bristle at that, but they both said, "Go for it. That's awesome." So that's really great. I mean, I don't know how great it is, but
so wait a minute. So you're a so wait, my mind is blown. So like you do it all. Like you could figure out cancer.
No.
I'm setting you up too high.
That's why I don't do that anymore. I definitely could not figure out cancer, and I don't want to. I hope someone else does, but that's I can't do it. But I did like it. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a good experience, and I'm glad I did it. But I came back to performing in the arts. So,
and how do you feel that your sorted lives that you've lived in a way? Like is that the wrong word for it, sort of?
I love it. I want a sorted past, a sorted history. That sounds really intriguing to me. I'm going to tell people that's what I have from now on.
I think it seems very fitting because like you did data and like you did science, and you also have like the psychological background to be able to understand a little bit more than someone that never studies it. Like I took a psychology class and I swear to God, like I'm a doctor now. Like I take things a little too far in my head, maybe delusions of grandeur, like
that's great.
narcissism in its own way. But I'm also very like I'm super transparent and like very self-aware. Anyway, my point is, how do you feel that the lives that you've lived and like the education that you've had that's been so specific, like those are super specific things, how do you think that helps you now when it comes to acting?
I think like I got to have some really, really amazing experiences doing what I did. So for example, I lived in Ecuador for a year when I was in college. I learned Spanish, which has been actually helpful for auditions at times. I am less fluent now than I have been, especially since living in Alaska, because there aren't a whole lot of Spanish speakers in Alaska, especially that are in my circle necessarily. But so it helped me learn a second language that I was fluent in for a while. But I also I did an ecology program. So we spent a month in the rainforest, which was like, I mean, it's just one of those experiences that like changes your life and really shapes you.
Yeah.
I got to go to Machu Picchu and hike the Inca Trail there, which is like this 3-day journey through the Andes on foot, which is really, those are things that just like, I think changed me as a person. And just, it was the first time I experienced another culture in a really immersive way. And it's Ecuador, South America is a very different place to live. And there are a lot of adjustments you have to make. So I think all of our experiences form who we are as actors and how we approach roles and how we understand, being another person, which is what you have to do when you're an actor. And I think it helped me in that way, I guess. I don't know. I think it was a good experience. I don't regret it, even though I sort of zagged after college, but I think it helped shape me and definitely informs some of my performances.
Totally. I mean, how could it not, right?
Yeah.
I always find it so funny whenever you hear like an interview with someone and like they ask a stupid question, and as you were answering, I was like, my question was kind of dumb. Like, how did your life shape how did your life shape your acting? And I always like when some people ask certain questions, like, that's a dumb question, but your answer was spot on and like really, really good. And it was
I
really
think
well thought out.
thank you, but I think it was a great question because there, like that's you as an actor, you always bring your experiences to the table, and those experiences were huge and definitely shaped big parts of my life. And I was in science for a number of years. So, and I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot when I was there. I still have connections with people, with my advisor, Alice Cronin-Galome. I saw her last year. She actually came to see me perform in Boston, which was, blew my mind. Cause she was my advisor as, as an undergrad. And, at some point I was like, hey, I'm switching careers. And she was on board with it, but she came, and all of the people that were in the lab came to see a show that I did at ART in Boston, which was really cool.
I saw Jagged Little Pill there.
Oh, Diane Paulus directed that. She was the director I was in Gloria Alive, which was there last year, which is about Gloria Steinum, which was amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun.
What was that production like?
Mind blowing. It was. I have a lot, like I love most of my experiences on the stage, with the exception of like one or two, but I love most of them. This one, it blew my mind. It was the best experience I've had on a stage. We got to meet Gloria Steinum. She came to opening night. So we did it first at McCarter in Princeton. The play's by Emily Mann, and she directed the production at McCarter in Princeton. Diane Paulus directed the one at ART. So first of all, just working with two different directors on the same material was really a trip. It was tough, but it was fun. And then, like I said, Gloria Steinum came, so we got to meet her, which was like, I idolized her. I guess that's not a word you're supposed to use, but I idolize her. She's just, I feel like I owe her. We do, as women, we all owe her so much for the work that she did. And all we can keep doing is continuing that work for her and doing what we can to forward women's interests and women's rights. So yeah, it was just really neat. The cast was amazing. It was super collaborative. Mary McDonnell played Gloria in the first one, and she was amazing to work with. And then Patricia Callenberg played Gloria at ART. So that was like working with these amazing women was also, it was great. It was an awesome experience. Yeah.
That's
amazing.
Really cool. That's so cool. Well, hopefully whenever Broadway comes back, it'll eventually transfer over there. Because I feel like ART has I feel like
there's a lot of times a lot of things that go through ART go right to Broadway, which of course I think my head would literally explode if that happened. But
I could totally see that happening. Oh my God, a Gloria Steinem show on Broadway? Totally. Why not?
Oh yeah. She's kind of having a moment because there's a movie out right now, The Glorias, and then she highly featured in Mrs. America, which was actually about Phyllis Schlafly. And I heard Gloria didn't actually enjoy that movie too much. I mean, because Phyllis Schlafly was not a great person. So, and I don't think she liked the way she was. But anyway, my point is Gloria's kind of all over the place right now. She's really having a moment. I think probably as a backlash to some stuff that's happened over the last recent years.
Definitely.
Maybe. Yeah.
So speaking of stuff that happens, there's just so much that happens in life, and sometimes it's hard to stay motivated, find that internal strength, or just something happens and you're just whoa, and we get a little fearful in moments. So whenever you feel fear start to kind of come into your life, what do you do to deal with the fear that comes toward you?
Yeah. So, particularly as an actor, this is really strange. And I've talked with casts about it before, but I haven't sort of acknowledged it more widely. But I've started to articulate this. I have, really bananas stage fright. To a point a few years ago, I was in a play, Whale Song at Perseverance Theater by Kathy Tagnack Rexford and directed by Madeline Sayet. And as we were getting closer and closer to tech, I was thinking, I'm going to have to stop doing this. Like before, we were teching and things were getting, close to opening night. And I would be backstage like, I don't want to go on. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And people, when I was younger, told me, the more you do this, the less you'll feel that. But it actually was the opposite for me. It got worse and worse as I got older. I don't know if because I'm more in my head or what. But I thought, this is it. It's going to have to be my last show. Performing is my favorite thing in the world to do. I love it. So I dug in, and there's a couple things that I do for that specific fear. One, I learned these like really great breathing techniques, and usually I'll breathe deep, but I added some there's like these quick staccato breaths that I do mixed with deep breathing, which is really helpful. A ton of stretching, which I've always done. And then I also discovered, and maybe this is controversial, but I take CBD oil, which has no THC. It's not a like drug, but I found a brand that I really like, and it's the best stuff, right?
Yeah, it's so great.
It works. And it's like, I have a lot of anxiety anyway. So like, sometimes I'll take Xanax, but I cannot take Xanax before I go on to perform. So I'll just be, a zombie. CBD is like, it disconnects the part that is like super linked to the fear or anxiety without making me kind of blitz out or whatever. I don't know. Like I don't zone out at all on it. I'm incredibly focused. I started using it before every show, and I take it like an hour before I walk onto stage, and usually my heart would be like, Yeah. And I walked out onto stage and I was like, I'm okay. Like this, it just takes like the slightest edge off. And if I work with myself with the breathing and the stretching, it's made it okay. It's been amazing. So that's one particular way of, that's one particular fear and one particular way I have of dealing with fear. Do you want me to go beyond that in terms of?
Sure, I could piggyback on that, because I've definitely used CBD in drinks to help with that. One time, I used this product called Calm. Have you ever heard of it? Calm. It's magnesium.
Yes,
it's fucking great.
I take it every night.
It's so great. I once took it before a show. Not once. I did it a few times before a show, a singing show. And I had some in my bag, and I don't know why I brought it. I guess I know why I brought it, but I had some in my bag, and I thought, well, let me use a little bit, and it just really helped me center. Like I felt calm. I felt just super chill on it, but I also didn't feel like I was going to fall asleep. So that was, but I normally I'll take it before bed, and it's super helpful. But I just wanted to add that to, but yeah, share another way that you deal with fear.
Well, first I will say I take Calm every day before I go to bed too. I have 2 big scoops, and it really helps because I have insomnia. I have all the things that go with anxiety. Like I have them. I have a really hard time sleeping. That stuff really helps me though, which is lovely. Yeah. So I take it every night. It's great. It doesn't knock me out, but it kind of just settles me a little bit, which is really great. The other ways, in creating, something like this book, of course, like as my mom and I were working on it together, I was really jazzed about it. I was excited. Like I'd be sending her ideas. So I wrote the couplets and designed the scenes. So I'd say like, okay, I want, I want these 2 people in a tent, or at a campfire outside of a tent. And then for the second one, they're in the tent and this is what's happening. And then she would go and draw them and send them to me. And she was sending them back. And I was like, oh, these are gorgeous. I love them. Mm-hmm. But, as we got, I was excited about our release date and getting them out into the world. But then I also was like, am I like stupid? Like, are these really dumb? And it's the fear, you know what I mean? That like you create a thing and you put it in the world, and then you're like, are people going to like this? Are people going to think this idea is really stupid?
Is this deserving of existing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think
after you've already created it, you look at it and you're like, was this a good idea? What? You spent so much time and energy making it, but it's that fear that makes you second guess.
It's fear. And I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like women experience that more than men, or maybe men. Right? Like I've seen men walk into a room with, and not all men and not to bash men, but like I've seen men walk into a room. Is it all right if I talk about this?
Yes.
And like own an idea. They don't care. They don't stop a lot of times. Yep. They don't stop and go like, should I be saying this? Is this a good idea? There's no hesitation. There's like, we should do this. And there's zero, it's all self-confidence. There's no like self-doubt and I don't see that a lot with women necessarily. And that is actually part of I don't think women should be like that. I think there's like somewhere in the middle, but I try to draw on that energy. Like, I know I don't want to see like that women going like, maybe we could, do you think this might be, I think that women should own their good ideas and even their bad ideas as much as men do. So sometimes I think about specific men in my life that I know have walked into a situation with maybe a terrible idea and they're just confident as hell. Yeah. And I'm like, that's what you have to do. So I sort of draw on that, or like try to pull a little piece of that into my own head. And when the self-doubt creeps in, just kind of go like, breathe, think about that energy and then try to put that into it. And I run a lot because I have that helps, and yoga. So all of those things are like my little tools to deal with that. And we did get I showed the book to a few of my friends first, like as it was coming out. I was like, these are the pages. What do you think? And one of my good friends in Alaska, Tayama Oka, he was like, these are more amazing than I thought they would be. And I was like, oh, yay, yay. So excited. And then they got a really good reception from lots of people. We were a #1 bestseller on Amazon for a little while. And yeah, so then I go like, oh, okay, it wasn't a bad idea. Yeah.
I love that. I wish that we could come up with a term instead of like big dick energy, but we can't do like big pussy power or like because big clit energy just doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound as cool as big dick energy.
Yeah. And big tit energy, I feel like is maybe a little like, what if you have small tits?
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to say it. Cause like, I wish we had a term.
I'd have to. There's got to be one. There is. Did you watch the show? I wonder if it could be like tits up energy, which could also be.
I've been saying hoist your tits a lot lately.
Hoist your tits.
Hoist your tits up. Hoist your tits up. Just grab them by the bra straps. I'm sorry, but like anytime you're trying to go somewhere, wear a bra only cause it just makes it easier to function.
Hoist them up. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I just wish that there was like, cause like big ovary energy.
No, it's big ov energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about a lot of times, and I don't know I've seen it a lot. And when I used to live in California, I saw it here. I have seen it a few times in Alaska. And this is what I mean. So like the on the back of a car sometimes, do you ever see balls?
Yeah.
Balls.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be big dick energy or whatever. It's the same thing, which is like, to me, balls, if you flick them, right, they're like, you can make a guy double over, but they're supposed to be the symbol of strength. So like we need something like that. I don't know if we need to hang tits on the back of a car, like labia.
I feel like everyone would want to see tits on the back of a car, but not a labia.
Probably not. But I didn't really want to see balls on the back of a car either.
No,
so screw it. But yeah, maybe the hoist your tits or tits up energy. I like that.
Yeah, tits up energy. I like that. I like that a lot. It's funny. There's this new app called Clubhouse.
Yes, I have heard of it. I don't have an Apple phone, so I have
Oh,
just
okay.
Android, so I can't do it.
Got it. Not yet. I'm sure once it's not in beta, they'll, expand on it. But I was listening. I thought I was in the wrong room. I was listening to one of the co-founders of Netflix was doing, he was listening to pitches. And so, someone was pitching something and they're like, yeah, so basically what we're asking for right now is just, $50,000. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to give you $50,000 right now. And the guy was like, yeah, well, I mean, we still have, and he starts backtracking, the guy asking for money. And then the guy that's the investor, he's like, well, what are you doing? Why are you getting outside? No, 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 no. You don't get in a room unless you're ready to play.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like so much masculinity that like I need to grow and be strong, be like a strong businesswoman. Like sometimes you just have to tap in because men do a really good job of like, no bullshit, cut to it, let's be a fucking shark. Men are much better at being sharks than we are. And it's totally because of the patriarchy. It's totally because of how we've been conditioned for eons. Like, totally.
Yeah.
It was super inspiring to like listen to because I was like, yeah, I want to be like that. And I'm super sweet, but like, I want to be like that in terms of business. Like,
Yeah.
being able to just like own it. If you're going to call me a bitch, I don't care.
Yeah. No, we have.
Like, it's why not? Why not? A guy's not afraid of being called a bad word. And if the only bad word we're going to get is bitch, I'll take it. I love dogs.
And me too. And I have a girl dog, a woman dog, a female dog, and she's totally a bitch. And sometimes when she's resting, I say she's got resting bitch face.
Yeah.
I love the word. And that was actually there was a line in the play about that where someone in Gloria Alive, where someone had she's talking about in her life, someone at some point, many people, of course, have called her bitch. She was referencing one time. And she said, for a long time, I didn't know how to respond to that. And then I figured it out. And then she said, thank you.
Yeah.
When someone calls you a bitch, say thank you, because it means you are getting stuff done. Yeah, I totally agree. And men, that's something that they have. And I think women, we're conditioned to make everyone comfortable. We are penalized. Like if we talk, there was a study done, if we talk 25% of the time, 1/4 of the time, we are perceived as dominating the conversation. That's what we're allowed. 1/4 of the time in mixed gendered company. Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. And then we're bitches, right?
Yeah.
Domineering, shrews.
Let's be bitches.
I'm going to be a bitch.
Let's be bitches. Oh my God. So Erika, where can people find you?
Yeah. So right now we have a website. It is racheljanedesigns.com.
Jane Design.
Yeah.
I'm going to have it right here.
So yeah, on that, you can go, we have 2 books that are available. When a Woman Loves a Man, and When a Woman Loves a Woman. We're working on the 2 that we'll do, When a Man Loves a Man next, and When a Man Loves a Woman. I wrote the first one, When a Woman Loves a Man, because I am a woman who loves a man, so it was sort of easy to write from that perspective. We want the books to be inclusive, so we wanted to make those 4 books. We may even do a genderqueer book at some point. But we hired an LGBTQ consultant for When a Woman Loves a Woman, because we wanted to be respectful and also accurate and just make sure that everything that we were doing was good in that community. So we hired a consultant just to chat. We showed them all the couplets and everything. So anyway, yes, our books are on Amazon. And you can get there. You can get to the links on Amazon either by searching for us or right through our website. And on our website, we have we have several pictures. So there's I think what the page is called coloring books. So you can actually go in and see some of the actual pages in each of the books. So that's kind of fun.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then what about like you? What about if people are like, oh my God, I want to see her. Like, I want to see her in a play. Like, can they follow you? Are you accessible on the social media?
So not as much anymore, especially during COVID. I know that people are doing Zoom theater. I don't feel compelled to do that in that way. Yeah. I'm director of marketing engagement for Perseverance Theater. So I'm marketing a bunch of those shows and producing we actually have a concert tonight.
Which will be what kind of fun. Concert?
It's with Taylor Vidic and Rebecca Hastings. So it's they're singer-songwriters in Juneau and Anchorage, Alaska, and they're performing. Wow. So I'm marketing these events, but I'm not performing right now. I'll probably get back to it once COVID is over. But and especially since I moved to Alaska, there have actually weirdly been a lot of acting opportunities that have come up since I moved there. I moved there for a show at Perseverance Theater, started working there. I met my husband like 3 days after I got there, and so I decided to stay.
I think I have to move to Alaska. Hi,
guys. Yeah. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. We got married 2 years ago in the spring. So yeah, it was really nice, but yeah, less performing right now, but I do still perform sometimes with Perseverance Theater and then whatever kind of comes up out around that, but nothing on the horizon right now.
Got it.
Everything.
Well, you are absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful that you came and you chatted with us. Please come back whenever you do the next book. We'd love to hear more about it and just catch up with you.
Thank you so much. I would love that. That'd be really fun. And I had such a great time talking with you. You're awesome.
You're awesome too. Thank you.
What'd you think of the show? It was fun, right? If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? I mean, if you haven't subscribed and you're still here, it's kind of like a goodbye kiss. So why don't you just subscribe? And then we'll be able to see each other more often. You leave a comment, I'll respond. This little game can play on. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I thank you for listening. I hope you have an incredible day. Keep yourself inspired. Keep fighting against the fears that want to stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Why? Because you're worth it. You're amazing and you got this. So let's make some magic. Let's make some magic. Don't forget to like and subscribe and we can make magic.